first, feel free to shake out the legs a little bit. And Balasana, that child's pose, will come onto our mat. And feel free to adjust the knees close together or a little further apart. You can also have your arms out front, fully extended, or you might have your elbows supporting you. And these kind of personal props you might use with your hands. So this goes for a lot of head support here. You can cross the wrists and make a pillow. Stack loose fists and rest your head on those stacked fists. And breathing into the hips, breathing into the back. These are all just variations, right? So these next few breaths, right, really take it as it feels good for you. Toes pointed, a little bit of length to the ankles, the shins. We can welcome the fixed position of the hips and trying to grow the spine a little bit longer toward the front, toward the top of the head. And of course, oftentimes with the head on the floor, the shoulders are rounded, and that's perfectly okay. You can still keep in mind that sense of extension, freedom in the spine. This last breath here can give a little pressure to the shins, the toes into the floor. You feel a little bit of strength in the calves. Rising up slowly, extending the body onto all fours. Walk the hands a little bit further forward than you would typically have them on your hands and knees. Bring the knees a little bit closer together underneath the hips. And at first, straighten your right leg behind you with the toes tucked under on the floor. So just opening up the back of the knee and the calf muscle. You can rock a little bit through the heel, through the arch of the foot. And just one more time, front to back, working into the toes a little bit. And then we'll switch the legs, the right knee under and the left leg coming back. Now with the hands a little bit further in front, we still want to ground the palms. And that's our frontal point of contact, right? Where we reach the left heel back and forth a little bit through the calf muscle, through the ankle, through the knee. We feel the strength in the arms, the hands and fingers grounded. We'll bring that left knee underneath. We're going to keep this open space here while we go through cow, inhaling to look. The next time you exhale, we'll round in cat. And as we travel front to back, inhaling, looking forward, lean forward a little bit into the hands over the palms. And when you round into your cat pose, shift the hips a little bit toward the heels. Inhaling, arching the back, chest open, feel the rib cage move between the arm bones. You can lean forward. And when you round your back, you can float back. You might feel a little bit of pressure in the knees. So be careful going too close to your child's pose in that cat pose. And we'll just go back and forth a couple more times. If the rhythm feels a little bit funny, you don't have to drift so far back or so far forward. And focusing a little bit more on the isolation movement to the spine. Right? A little bit more focused in hips and shoulders. We'll go through just one more cycle. If you're in that extended version of things, right, that rocking motion, right? Last cycle. We're going to modify our child's pose by curling the toes under, bringing the hips to the heels. Walk your hands a little bit further forward so you could keep your arms or your elbows off the floor. Forehead on the ground if possible. Just 2 breaths. Try to activate your feet a little bit. The toes gripping into the floor. A little bit of strength to the arches. And still that solid pressure to your palms. One more breath in, a strong breath out. We'll rise to the hands and knees on our way to our downward facing dog. So you can lift your chin a little bit, just a slight version of cow pose, lifting the knees, the hips into the air. And looking back to the feet, we'll pedal the feet in place, working a little bit through the heels. Strong action through the calves again. Same opening maybe to the backs of the knees. Feeling the front of your thighs and how they have a role to play in that pedaling of your feet. Now we'll steady the legs, shifting forward to your plank position. Hold for just a moment. Again, chin up, shoulders back from the ears. Lower your knees and pause. And find cow pose, trying to lower the chest only, keeping the hips in the air. If you can hold the weight on the sternum, that's amazing, but you don't have to. Moving into Cobra Pose. Hips to the floor, toes pointing, and the chest rising. You can use your arms at first to lift the heart. I want to feel the tops of the feet pressing, the thighs nice and strong. One more full breath in. Keep your chest up as you lower your abdomen, exhaling, lift your hands. We're going to bring the thumbs up toward the ears. You don't have to stick your thumbs into your ears, but I just want you to put your thumbs near your ears and then see if you can keep the elbows way out wide. Keep your chest up. Just one more deep breath in. And then exhale, we're going to take the hands returning to the floor, put your forehead on the ground. Now with your forehead on the floor, I want you to curl your toes underneath and then dig the toes into the mat so you can lift your knees. And the thighs are nice and straight. So the toes stay on the floor. And when you engage the legs, the knees lift off the ground. You can keep your forehead down, but if you want to challenge yourself, go ahead and lift your head, lift your chest a little bit. You don't need to help out with the arms at all. One more breath in, and then exhale, lower the head, point the toes. We're going to lift up onto all fours. As you find your way onto hands and knees, turn your hands around. So your fingers are going to be pointing at your knees. Now the big adjustment with this is you've got to bring your hands a lot closer to your knees. So whereas earlier we had that cat and cow extended in front, we're actually shortening the distance from the fingers to the knees. If you can, the fingers are pointing directly at your knees. Pose and cow pose. If you're watching me, you'll notice that my hips are back behind my knees a little bit, right? So my thighs are kind of slanting backwards, and that's also helping me to regulate the amount of pressure to the hands. Now, this is a big deal for the arms. We try to keep the elbows straight. One more cycle through. Notice what your shoulders are capable of and where their limits happen to be. Last time rounding. And when you have your head lifted, we'll circle the hands around out in front. Take a moment just to look at your hands and marvel at your fingers. And then downward facing dog. We'll curl the toes, knees, and hips up into the air. Breathing. We're going to walk the feet up to the hands. And when you get your legs underneath you, hands to your hips, and then lifting your torso, rising to standing. Head first. You can keep your knees bent until you arrive standing, and then straightening your legs, rest your arms, mountain pose. As you stand up straight with the eyes open, take a moment to find a point in front of you that's not moving, just a visual anchor, and standing up a little bit taller through the top of your head. Feel a similar strength in your thighs that you might have just felt a moment ago in your Cobra Pose, especially the one where I was asking you to curl your toes under and kind of grab the floor. Here you would actually lift your toes to feel a similar action to the front of your legs, right? The kneecaps and the quadricep muscles. Just one more breath in with all of this going on, and then let it soften a little bit while you exhale. Now, if you're not already at the top of your mat, go ahead and step forward. We're going to squat into a high chair pose. We're going to call the ski jumper, taking the arms back behind the hips. Sweep your arms forward, lifting them overhead, straighten your legs. This is going to be our inhalation. And as you exhale, lower the arms down into that ski jumper position. Keep your chin up. Keep the chest open. And as we move, inhaling to lift up and exhaling to squat down. And if the arms go too far back, they'll shove the shoulders. And we want to keep the chin up, keep the chest open. So that line is one that you need to draw for yourself. Right? Same here, how far you're going into the squat. Right? We want to be able to use the heels, right, as the primary point of pressure. We feel that the tops of the thighs and the buttocks work in combination to really support us through both the upward and the downward action. And we're just going to do this one more time, up and down. Breathing in once more, reaching as high as you can. Exhaling, we'll stay in the squat. Now the arms come a little bit behind. Chest open as you fold forward. Fingers to the floor. Now straighten your legs. Nice and slowly walk your fingers around to the right side of your yoga mat. Bend your left knee just a touch going forward. Your right leg might be able to straighten a little bit further. One more breath in. And when you exhale, releasing, walking the fingers around to the other side. Your right knee bending, your left leg can go a little straighter. We're keeping the fingers on the floor for the time being. Note the heels, the outer edges of the feet. One more breath in. And when you exhale, walking the fingers back around to the center. We're going to try to rise through that ski jumper position. So bend your knees, float the arms behind you as you open up through the chest into chair pose. Swing the arms forward, inhaling to stand up. Join your hands together, exhaling them down to your heart. Let the arms rest by your side for a moment. Locate that point of focus in front of you, standing a little taller in mountain pose. Close your eyes as you breathe. We're going to take a deep breath in through the nose and a long breath out through the mouth with a sigh. You can be as loud as you like. Deep breath in together. So that 2 more times. You can extend the exhalation as long as you can. Big breath in. Eyes open, circle the arms wide. Inhale, look up. Exhale, circle the arms in front of you, look down and bend your knees. Squeeze your hands into fists. We're going to inhale to circle the arms, breathing through the nose, spread your fingers. Exhale the hands into fists, curl the hands in front of you, sighing. And a few more times. Inhale through the nose, coming up. And your exhalation. You can be as audible as you like, as long as you can hear it, as long as you can feel it. Right? You want to feel that friction, that slight restriction to the throat muscles. It'll give you insight to the diaphragm. Right? Also connected to the pelvic floor. Right? Those 3 breathing apparatus, right? Apparati will come down one more time, up and down. Really reach for the sky. Really squeeze in, feel the strength to the core. Now we're going to reach up once more and grab the right wrist. Lifting a little higher over to your left side. You can push the right foot into the floor, really strong in the anchor. We're going to inhale to lift up, switching the hands. Feel free to take a second and circle the wrists. Find a comfortable space for the shoulders, of course. And we feel the strength through the left leg pressing down, opening through the ribs on the left side. You're going to inhale to come up to the center. Your arms go behind you, interlacing the fingers or hooking your thumbs. Look down, chin to the chest. Open the chest as you lift your chin, squeeze the shoulder blades together. You can also twist a little bit side to side, trying to straighten your elbows possibly. Before you fold, come back to the center and bend your knees. Lead with the heart as you dip in. Your forehead towards your shins, fingers into the air. Relax your jaw. You might turn your head ever so subtly. No. And then pausing the no before you ever so simply say yaha. Chin up and down. Heaviness to the neck. Bringing your arms to your body. Standing up, head first. Keep the shoulders back. Use those arms to your advantage, telling the heart what to do. We'll release the hands, palms together at the heart. Here, reaching forward, inhaling to lift up. Little bit of the back bend, maybe. Circle the arms to fold. Come all the way down. Step your left foot back. We're going to find a high lunge. Keep your knee lifted, the toes straight ahead, and we'll rise up. Arms overhead. You can always modify with that back heel on the floor. Warrior one, if that feels more solid for you. Just a breath here, looking up to the sky. Exhaling the hands to the floor. Downward facing dog. We'll step back. Hips into the air. Take a moment to get your bearings. Your inhalation to plank pose. You can move knees, chest, and chin, or through chaturanga to the floor. We'll stick with Cobra Pose, most of us. Right? If you're ready for a bigger back bend, by all means, but take it easy. No variations necessarily here, so neutralizing that back bend, downward facing dog, from the knees, through the hips. We're going to be stepping the left foot and then the right foot forward. Looking toward the hands, bringing that left foot up to plant the heel, the right foot coming up to join it. We'll circle the arms to stand. Inhale to rise, and exhale the hands to the heart. And if you didn't quite make it on that step forward, just inch the toes to the top of the mat. We'll circle the hands together, the heart to start again. Inhale, lifting up, open the chest, arms going wide in the fold. Use the legs, right foot stepping into that high lunge. So keeping the knee lifted. When you're ready, arms overhead. That's beautiful, you all. Really wonderful. Find that point of focus. Use your vision, maybe looking up. One more breath in. Exhaling the hands to the ground. We'll step back. Downward facing dog. Now, of course, you always have the option to stay here. Child's pose is forever available. Alternatively, shifting to plank to the ground in your fashion. Stay safe, stay strong. Your cobra, your upward facing dog. And we'll get into some variations in a little bit. But for now, I want you to feel you can move confidently through vinyasa cycles if you're taking them. Elbows in, chest open. So the right foot and then the left foot will step forward. Just a reminder, keep your knee above your heel. And you can really use that front heel as a pivot point. Circling the arms, inhaling to rise. Exhaling the hands to the heart. And again, if needed, go ahead and step forward. Little bit different to the side stretch here. Circle the arms up and cross the arms, grabbing the opposite elbow if it's possible. You can also loosen this up to clasp the wrists. And we're going to lean over to the left and feeling that plane of the forearms moving up, up, and away. Right? So lifting out of the torso, out of the waist, right and left. Inhale to the center. We're just going to go through the center to the right. That left foot can press down. And it's easy to sort of collapse on the right side, keeping space to breathe through that right side of your rib cage, those obliques. When we come up to the center here, inhaling, goddess pose to the arms, exhaling. Fingers nice and bright. Now from here, we're going to hug the elbows into the ribs. I used to call these the penguin arms, kind of short wings, you know, the fingers pointing out directly. So it's kind of a weird action, but feel the upper back strong. Chin up, breath in, and then exhale, taking the hands to the floor as you fold. Left foot stepping back. We're finding that high lunge again. You can modify warrior one. Arms overhead when you're ready. And we'll get into that same goddess pose maneuver we just did with those penguin arms. So first find your balance and then come out goddess. Palms bright facing forward and then hugging the elbows into the ribs. You might almost get the feeling that you could bring the upper arm bones together behind the back. One more full breath in as you embellish the heart, and then folding as you exhale, the hands down and downward facing dog. That's a lot for the balance, right? So take a breath here. When you're ready, moving through the cycle, and you're very welcome to pass over or maybe just moving to plank and back. I'm going to skip it just to take a breath, but if you're feeling it, you go for it. In your time, your left foot and then right foot stepping forward. Again, use that front foot strong, use the buttocks. We'll circle the arms, inhaling to stand. Hands together and to the heart. So once again, let it rest a moment, stepping forward if needed. And arms, hands together in front, we'll reach forward. Inhale to lift and exhale to fold. Your right foot stepping, high lunge. So keeping the knee lifted, toes straight ahead, arms overhead. So first finding the balance again. Warrior one is your back foot modification. Goddess pose. And those almost rigid 90-degree corners at the elbows, right? Coming into the body, chin up, heart forward. And we're not just squeezing the shoulder blades. Let the lateral muscles work too. Full breath in when you've got it. Exhale the hands to the floor, downward facing dog. And here we'll stay together and make a variation with camel pose. Shifting forward to plank, lower the knees only. Walking your hands to your knees and then standing up on the knees. With the hands to the hips, we're going to move the chin up and down, yes, in super slow motion. And as you're moving your chin up and down, for a moment, feel the balance. And then you might feel also how you can keep the chest up even when you lower your chin. And then we're going to keep the chin and the chest together. Slide the hands to the sacrum so the palms are open, knuckles on the pelvis. And offering a little bit of support as you guide the hips forward, you can lean back. Please, you don't need to go too far. And you want to be able to engage the buttocks, right? It's not a clenching of the glutes as such, but a definite strength to the buttocks. And you can feel that power lifting the chest. If you can't squeeze the glutes, you're going too far. Inhale to come up. And exhaling, we're going to lower down first hands and then elbows to the floor. As you plant the forearms, join the hands to interlace the fingers. If you've already got the toes tucked under, great. Otherwise, go ahead and bring them into position. The knees lifting the hips into the air, finding dolphin pose. And as you come up here to dolphin, there's a lot going on in this pose. I want to remind you, you can blend in chair pose, Utkatasana, keep the heels up, the knees bent. Looking up toward your thumbs, walk your feet toward the rear, finding low plank. Now, as you come down into forearm plank, you might keep a little bit of dolphin, keep the hips up and the tail tucked. It's okay. Otherwise, you might level off more into neutral spine. It's probably the healthiest position to find, but it really is challenging and requires a lot of strength from the thighs, from the groin muscles, as well as from the abdominal core. If you've got a few more breaths here, please hang out with me. You can rest whenever you're ready. One of the things I find it's not really intuitive, but really does help is to step the feet all the way together. So the toes and the heels are touching, and then really clamp the heels together. You'll feel, oh my gosh, that's really hard to do. But once you get in tune with that strength and what it can do for you, it's so helpful. So let's lower the hips down, knees and hips to the floor. Bring the elbows out to make a little pillow, resting your forehead on your forearms. So just stacking the wrists, sort of log cabin style, similar to the way we were grabbing the forearms in those side stretches. And breathing into the belly here. If you feel the heart rate was elevated from what we've been doing, right, it's wonderful to feel the breath. You might even get a sense of the pulse in the solar plexus. Fairly sensitive, but it's interesting to experience that about your body. All right, so we're going to try this action, a similar function once more. So please lift your head so that you can move your arms, bringing your forehead on the floor. Join your hands together, interlacing your fingers behind you. Take as much time as you need. Grab your beach towel somewhere along the edge if you need a go-between. Curl your toes underneath. Dig the toes into the ground so you can straighten the legs completely. Now lift your chest and reach back through your knuckles. So it's a kind of pose or locust pose, but we're keeping the toes on the floor. And what I want you to try to feel is that you can reach back through the arms, extend through the knuckles in such a way that you're actually able to grab the floor more with the toes. Now the toes are doing something interesting because they're grabbing the floor and also trying to push you forward. And as you're trying to use the toes to push you forward, the knuckles can reach even further back. And this is a long time to hold this, so just one more big breath in, and then we'll exhale to lower everything, forehead, release your hands, point the toes. You can drop the hands just near the hips. You can make a little pitter-patter with your feet on the floor, tapping the toes, alternating. And if that feels good, you can get pretty deeply into it, rather than just a little drizzle, a thunderstorm. And then settle that action. Hands up near the chest, rising onto the hands and knees. On your way to your downward facing dog. As you find your downward dog, give it a couple of breaths. Up to the hands. First, raise your right leg behind you. Keep looking to your hands. Take a deep breath in, and then stepping all the way to the front and hold your high lunge. Balancing up on your fingertips and look forward. Make space for your chest. Press back through your left heel. We're going to straighten the front leg and lift the left heel. Bring your forehead towards your knee. We're going to call this cat pose. Bend your front knee. Press back through the left heel. Looking forward as you inhale fully, cow pose. Straighten your front leg. Exhaling. It's a little counterintuitive, so take a moment to get in the rhythm. Inhaling the lunge, looking forward. Exhaling the straight leg and lifting the hips. One more time. You might want to try to challenge yourself. Lift your fingers off the floor just a couple inches. When you've got your knee bent the next time, we're going to step back. Downward facing dog. Lift both of the heels. Lower both of the heels. Plank pose, come forward. Keep plank pose. Use the heels to push you forward. Use the heels to pull you back. Downward facing dog. Keep breathing. Your left leg is going to rise in preparation for stepping forward. Look to your thumbs. Look to your hands. Big breath in. And all the way up to the top. Finding that high lunge with the fingers on the floor, looking forward. So we kind of have a sense what's coming, but take it fresh through the right leg, strong, that right heel pushing back. Remember, this is your inhalation cow pose. Straighten your front leg, exhaling cat pose. Forehead toward your knee. When you bend your front knee again to look forward, that right heel pushes to the wall behind you rather than the floor. And we're trying to raise the right heel as we straighten the front leg, that scissor action, feeling the energy coming all the way up the legs toward the groin. Right? And this we can feel as we move back and forth from the lunge, right? How the thigh bones are moving closer to each other and then further away from each other. Right? So we can actually envision going on at the hips and the pelvic joint. This last one, you're going to lift your hands maybe. Oh my goodness, somehow it's happening, somehow. It's awesome. From the lunge, we're stepping back. Downward facing dog. Inhaling to your plank, to the ground, your cobra, your upward facing dog. Feel through, take it easy. You don't have to go to full expression just because you've been there already. Always come back down a little bit. We're going to be stepping the right foot and then the left foot forward. Take your time in getting there. Arms to stand. Inhale to rise. And to the heart, exhaling. And so let's let it rest for a moment, breathing. All right, so this little action, I find it actually kind of frustrating. So you all are doing all right, awesome. And I don't say that to psych you out or anything, but just notice that it's actually pretty limited what we're able to do. So the hands are going to come around to the sacrum, and signify this before, but happy to do this again. You find your tailbone, and just a couple inches higher is the sacrum, and we try to place the knuckles pressing into the pelvis. Now, as you stand up nice and tall, the elbows back, and a similar action to the upper back muscles that we had in that little, the penguin poses. The right knee is going to lift. So take a moment to feel the heel and then the thigh rise. And as you feel your knee lift, you'll notice how the pelvis starts to come away from your knuckles back there, right? How the tail tucks under. And we're just going to straighten the right leg and notice that it extends even further away. And then lowering the right leg down, let it rest for a moment while you bend and straighten your legs. You can twirl the wrists around, just doing a deliberate kind of slow motion action. And we'll take the hands around again to support and also monitor the pelvis. So you could go so far as to take one of your hands on your sacrum and keep the other hand in the small of your back. And this will give you even more information as we lift the left heel and then bring the left knee up. And really do take your time and watch how the pelvis drops or the back flattens into that upper hand. The left leg is going to straighten out, and with the extension of the hamstring, it draws the pelvis even further underneath. So this is a huge mechanic that we can be cognizant of through the whole practice, but just a moment there to really look at it in isolation. Now, we're going to do something a little bit strange here. So what I want you to do is take your arms and bring them up near your chest and make your hands into fists. And then we're going to take the left arm and punch it forward and say, ha, like that. So I can't hear you, but we're going to do it together. So let's do the left arm again. We're going to punch it forward and say, ha, and then bring it back to your chest. And then your right arm, you're going to take it and punch it forward and say, ha, and then bring it back into the chest. And then left and right one more time. We're going to go, ha, and then bring it back. Big breath in, right side, ha, and then bring it back in. Now we're going to add the legs. So the left arm and the right leg are going to punch forward through the heel. And we're going to try to do all of this without rounding into cat pose. So let's see how it goes. So your left leg and your your left arm and your right leg. Deep breath in and ha, perfect. And then your right arm and your left leg, deep breath in and ha, great. Let's keep going. Left arm, right leg, ha, big breath in. Right arm, left leg, ha, big breath in. Left arm, right leg, ha, big breath in. Right arm, left leg, ha. I won't confuse you anymore. Ha. We're going to do one more each side. Ha. Big breath in. Ha. Last one on that right arm, left leg. Ha. Fantastic. I hope that was fun. Reach the arms up. Big breath in. Exhale, fold it forward. Hands to your shins, halfway rising. Step your left foot back as you lower down. Pause here on your fingertips. Great. Now we're going to step the right foot to meet the left foot. Downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward up to your hands and rise onto your fingertips looking forward. Now for symmetry's sake here, we're going to step the right foot forward. Hands to your shins, just halfway up. Exhale to slide it down, step foot back. Low, or rather high lunge on the fingers. Step your left foot back, downward facing dog. Look to your hands, step your right foot forward. Now looking up on the fingers. Now we're going to step the right foot back and then step the left foot forward. looking up, and step your left foot back, and then step your right foot forward. Now, if you're interested, you can switch the feet. At the same time, you step your left foot forward, you step your right foot back. My big tip here is to throw the hips up into the air and switch the legs. So you can switch as you toss the hips up. Now, if you're watching me for a second, I'm on my fingertips, and this is a really big deal, right, as we go front to back. And you might just try it once or twice. You might say that was enough, right? We're gonna meet in the standing forward fold, right? So the feet together at the top. Circle the arms to stand. Inhaling to reach up, hands together, exhaling. Bringing your arms behind you and interlacing your fingers. Reaching down through the knuckles, chest forward, chin up. A little bit of a twist if it serves you. And before you fold, bend your knees. Forehead toward your shins, your knuckles up into the air, and breathing into your back. You don't have to go too far with the shoulders, of course. Bringing your arms to your body, releasing your hands to the floor. Hands to your shins, just halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana, and slide it down into the fold. Step your left foot back, warrior one for everyone. Arms overhead, and we'll rise. Looking to the hands if you've got the balance. Straighten your right leg, turn to the left, hands to the hips. Turn your right foot in so your feet are parallel. As you find a wide-legged position here, feel your balance looking up. Take a deep breath in, and we'll fold forward, exhaling the hands to the floor. Your right knee bending, and then your left knee bending. And as we travel from right side to left side, right, feel what's best for your hips. Right, slow motion transitions. Maybe you're going a little bit deeper. Right. Stay strong in the ankles, right? The inner arches of your feet are active. And sometimes all you need to do is lift the toes a little bit to give you a little more awareness there. And you don't have to stay in motion, of course. We're going to meet in the center and hang out for a couple of breaths. You might grab the ankles or grab your elbows and let the arms hang and bar the arms, right? That freedom to the shoulders, that kind of heaviness there. So again, what feels good, enjoy your breathing. So please take your time before we stand up, hands to the hips. You can keep the knees bent, you can rock back into the heels and then rising, coming all the way up. Wonderful. We're going to turn the right foot forward and find warrior two. So you can keep that left foot pretty much pointing out to the side and the arms outstretched. Look to your left hand, bend your right knee. Just a nice little bit of contrast for a second. Look to your right hand, fingertips reaching out in the distance. Keep that right knee open, that right thigh open. Lean backwards, lowering your left hand to your thigh, your right arm up straight to the ceiling alongside your cheek. Pressing into the front heel, straighten your leg. See if you can lift a little bit higher from the sides of your torso. So the left hand isn't supporting you to lean. The left hand is supporting you to find a little bit more space in the ribs underneath that left armpit. We're going to inhale to come up, and then finding warrior two, bend your knee as you exhale. Side angle from here, your forearm to your thigh, your left arm either straight up to the ceiling or taking it alongside your cheek. You can look to your left hand or back past your armpit. Those of you that want to take this deeper, the right hand can set to the floor. And certainly if you wanted to extend it more, you could bind, right? We're actually pretty well suited for this at this point, pretty open in the chest as well as the hips. So take it where you find it. One more, maybe two more breaths, depending what you're working with. Your exhalation will take your hands to the floor. Downward facing dog is where we'll regroup. Meet you there. You're welcome to stay. You're welcome to go. Plank pose through the vinyasa, or child's pose if you're going a little bit the other direction. Keep breathing. It's amazing, you all. It's fantastic. Your left foot and then your right foot will step through from your downward dog. Please take your time, inhaling to standing, and the hands at the heart. You can always close your eyes and rest here. Wonderful practice, keeping you really well aligned with your breathing. Eyes open, hands together, lifting up as you inhale. Circle the arms with the exhalation, diving all the way down. Right foot, warrior one, root through the heel, the arms coming up and overhead. And maybe looking to the hands, through the hands. Straightening your left leg, opening to the right side, hands to the hips. Feet turning in parallel for the most part. Chin lifting as you inhale and folding with your exhalation. Fingers to the floor, hands to the ground. Right knee bending, left knee bending. Here you might angle the toes outward a little bit, or we could say inch the heels in a little bit, and still staying mindful to strengthen the ankles, keeping the toes, the ball mounts of the feet participating. You can dance a little jig, tipping the toes toward the ceiling. I know a lot of you know this, but you can tip onto the back of the heel, the toes lifting up. Using the arms most likely for a lot of support here, but those of you that are really feeling it, you can bring the hands in prayer position at the heart, and you travel very, very much under control of the hips and the groin as you move from one side to the other. And again, you don't need to be in constant motion. If you're ready to settle here, we'll find our center. We'll take some breaths here in the middle. You might position the feet more or less parallel as you find yourself in the middle. Last breath, maybe two of them. Keeping it nice and simple, the hands to the hips, open the chest, rising to standing. And your left foot is going to turn outward or face forward. Warrior two, the arms out shoulder height. So before you bend your front knee, look to the right hand, then bend your left leg. I find that, there's almost a sort of visual pull when you look back and then looking to the left hand. Lean backwards, your right hand to your thigh, the left arm up alongside your cheek. Breathing. Feel that left leg nice and strong from the glute, the outer thigh, all the way up. Straightening your left leg, keep the strength rising up a little higher, both sides of the torso. Okay, so that right hand is not just supporting you, it might be supporting you, but let it help you find a little more upward extension as well. Keep breathing. We're going to inhale the arms up, level, bend your knee as you exhale, warrior two. Side angle pose, your left forearm to your thigh. It's a great place to start, even if you're moving on. Chest open, feel the shoulder blades behind the heart. That right arm can stay vertical or angling alongside your ear. The bind and all the rest of that are on the table for those of you that want them. Left hand to the floor. The lower you go in this pose, the more you'll need to lengthen it. So that right foot might need to inch back. See how it goes for you. Couple more breaths. Strong through the legs. Trust your thighs. They can do it, even though they might be telling you stories. Right hand down, downward facing dog. We'll step back, breathing, and we'll do this one more time together. So plank pose to camel pose. Knees down softly. Hands to your hips, walk it back and up. Palms open on the sacrum. If you want, you can take your hands to your feet eventually. You might have the toes tucked under or a block handy. Chin to your chest like we started before. Feel the connection of the front of the thighs to the glutes as you lean back. And at first, check in with the breath. See that you're not going too far for a smooth and steady breathing. Your hands to the heels if you're going to go. Your head can go back. Breathe into the chest. The opportunity to breathe into the ribs, into the armpits. Your timing, inhaling when you're ready to come up and lowering down to the hands and then the forearms. Similar to the way we started with our cat and cow, keep a bigger distance from the elbows to the knees. You can point the toes and make a little pitter-patter sound with the tops of the feet if you had them tucked under. Sometimes relieving that pressure feels really nice. You can let your head dangle a little bit, keeping the tail feathers in the air. So, the lower back is a little bit in side to side. You can also circle the hips around. This is why I wanted you to keep the elbows forward so you had a little bit more space underneath you. And if the circling of the hips feels really nice, that's great. If it's a little tender in the knees for any reason, the shins, you don't have to keep going. Circling the other way, if you haven't yet switched, seeing what the other path looks like as you travel around in those hip joints. And this last circle through will settle in the center, and then shifting forward to the hands and knees. Downward facing dog, where we're headed, toes tucking under. Bring the hips into the air. Looking to the hands, we're going to step the right foot and then the left foot forward, one after the other to rise. Circle the arms, inhaling to stand, and exhaling the hands down to the heart. It's wonderful. Rest the arms and breathing. All right, so Peg, we're going to go for our little dance here. So step your right foot to the side edge of your your yoga mat. And then you're going to step your left foot, the left heel specifically, onto the same right side edge of your yoga mat. If you're unsure, you can look at me. I'm in a kind of very shortened warrior stance, right? The heels are on that edge. Now I'm going to step my left foot over to the left side edge of the mat, toes running alongside that line. And then the right heel is going to step back into that miniature warrior stance. And it's helpful to look down for right now, see, okay, how am I trying to set this up? And let's do it one more time. Right foot onto the side edge, and then that left heel. Great. Now keep the left heel on the edge, and you're going to step, or rather slide, your left heel up to touch the back of the right heel. And then you're going to slide that left foot further down the line. And then let's do that one more time. Slide it forward, and then slide it backward. And this is what we were calling the trombone, right? You get it, I think. So let's do the left foot over to the left edge of the mat, and then the right heel. Balance, balance. So the right heel on the edge, and again, it's a warrior stance, very narrow as it were, but we would say this is the textbook alignment. Right heel forward to the back of the left, and then slide the right heel back. So we're just playing the trombone here on the other side, right? We're ambidextrous musicians, and you can slide that heel up and down the line a couple of times. All right, super duper, right? It's so much fun. All right, now lift your chin and look forward. Step your right foot to the right side edge. Step your left foot to that same side edge. You might not be exact, but it's okay. Step your left foot over to the left side, and then the right foot back. So now this is the cha-cha, right? So the right foot over to the right side, left heel back, heel back. If you want to go really fast and challenge yourself, you can step, 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 right? And go from one side to the other. If you really want to challenge yourself, close your eyes while you're doing this. And you don't have to do this so fast. And we'll come back to the center. And if none of that made any sense, that's totally fair. It will in just a second, I hope. So we'll come back to the center here, hands together at the heart, reaching the arms forward and up, inhaling to lift. Exhale to fold it forward. Step your left foot back into that runner's lunge. We're going to keep the left hand on the floor, twisting inward, right hand to your knee, and then reaching the right arm up into the sky. Keep the back foot on the floor, just raise the heel up. Straighten your right leg, keep your left hand on the floor. Careful of your neck, you don't strain to look up, you can just look to the wall or look down. One more deep breath in. Exhale, bend your knee, lower your right hand to the floor. Now, standing splits. We're going to step firmly into that right heel and swing the left leg into the air. Once you've got your balance, your hands underneath you, lifting the left leg a little bit higher. Flex the left foot and straighten the left knee. Lower the left heel, playing the trombone to your right heel. We're going to go back, up and down a few more times. Playing the trombone with the left leg in the air. Try not to touch the floor. You can lean as far forward into your hands as you need to. We're very much involved with that right hip as well as what the left leg is trying to do. So you've got one more note to play. Nice long trombone note. And your left foot next to your right foot. Lift both heels and squat down. Take a moment to feel your balance. You can walk your hands to your knees. You can bring your shoulders over your hips, but feel free, please, to keep your fingers on the floor. You all survived. Thumbs up, awesome. Hands to the floor. You guys are amazing. Head down, hips up. Hands to the shins. This is our closing cycle here from the standing poses. You also stay with it, stay strong. Right foot stepping back. That runner's lunge to the twist, your left hand to your knee, and reaching the left arm up. Now the twisting is based on that front knee forward, the right heel backward. And then as we go into the hips here, first the back heel lifting, keeping the toes strong, and then straightening the left leg maybe a little bit as best you can, keeping that left foot flat on the floor. And feel and breathe into the hips. Right? It's a revolved triangle, strangely mixed together. Lower your left hand, bend your knee. You can use a little bit of the front to back momentum, but use that front heel as the pivot point, standing splits the right leg. Keep breathing. High as you can with that right leg. It's not important how high, just going to your edge and breathing there. You can always back off. Straighten your knee, flex the foot, playing the trombone, the right heel floating down directly behind the left heel, and then coming back and up. So you're keeping that external rotation for the most part as you play the trombone, and you try not to touch the floor with that right foot. Yeah, and for sure it's about that standing hip, because most of us are leaning a little bit to the left, and that's how it should be, right? But we feel that those muscles are really, doing what they've got to do. And if you've got one or two more notes to play, by the way, I stole this from Bing Crosby. I don't know if you know that, but I'll explain later. Your right foot down to the floor, heels lifting, and we'll squat down. So nice and easy. Again, if you want to add on here, the hands to the knees, arms overhead. We're on our way to the floor, so if you want to sit down sooner than later, please be my guest. You can reach the arms out front, and you can sit down, heels, and then rolling, or use the hands to support you as you sit down, and then maybe rocking a couple times front to back. And we're going to stay seated for Baddha Konasana, and then we'll move to our backs and stay down. So the primary variable is the distance of the hips to the heels, the feet together, the hands on the ankles. And then we try to position the hips in such a way that the spine is already moving a little bit forward. It's already rising vertically at the very least. Folding over the hands to the toes, face down toward your feet. Some of you might be able to use the forearms creatively, either pressing a little bit on the inner ankle, or you can bring the elbows to the front of the shins. All different ways to feel and breathe into the back, into the chest. Two more breaths. Wonderful to close the eyes and envision the circulation throughout the pelvis. Keeping your jaw relaxed, we'll rise slowly. Inhaling as you sit up. The hands to the knees to bring them together. And then rolling onto the floor, you might scoot your hips forward so you've got space on your mat for your head. And then lowering down softly, grabbing the knees, grabbing the thighs, knees to your chest, rocking a little bit side to side as you settle on the floor, rolling your head a little bit right and left. Small twists to the neck have a resonant effect through the whole spine. We'll bring it back to the center bridge pose here. We're going to lower the feet flat. Arms robot style. Many of you are familiar with this setup here, but the elbows bent at 90 degrees, fingers pointing straight up into the ceiling, and then pressing the elbows down, the heels down, lifting the hips. Adjusting your head. Sometimes you actually need to lift it a little bit as you roll onto the top of the shoulders. Now keep your elbows exactly where they are. We're going to go into those penguin arms. So the hands kind of fan out to the floor. And it's an awkward setup for the shoulders at first. But if you shimmy a little bit side to side and try to walk the shoulder blades or the upper arm bones underneath your body, it'll make a little bit more sense. Keep the thighs and the buttocks in combination nice and strong. You can try to press your knuckles into the floor. Right? Really spread the fingers widely. Try to press your forearms and your wrists into the ground. Notice what responds in the back through the chest. 2 more breaths. I know you can do it. Right? Really strong through the thighs. Keep the knees close together. Big breath in. You lower your hips down slowly, exhaling. Wonderful. When the hips touch the floor, hands onto the abdomen. You can rock a little bit to position the shoulders free. Lifting your right ankle over your left thigh. We're going to that figure 4. Now, after everything we were doing, playing the trombone and everything, hopefully this feels awesome. You might lift your head at first so that you can grab your left leg with both hands. Right. Using the strength in both of the legs, ankles strong, as well as the arms to hug in. If it feels right for you, you can straighten your left leg a little bit. There might be a sweet spot for your body where you get the most out of the hips, where you get the most out of the legs. So, doing your own research on your body. Releasing your hands, your left foot to the floor. Stretch your right leg up to the ceiling. Grab hold of your right thigh. Just circle the ankle around a couple times. And then bringing that right knee to your chest. We're going to make our twist, straightening your left leg along the floor. If it serves you, you can look up along the length of your body to find the midline, and then rolling the right arm out to the side, bringing your right leg over to the left across your body to the floor. And you're welcome to keep the leg, that right leg, sort of free floating as long as the hip and the back are satisfied. For some of us, it's useful to stay a little safer, resting the right foot on the inner left thigh. You can teeter-totter a little bit from that right knee to the right shoulder, using the spinal axis as the fulcrum. Your right arm can also play around with a little bit of goddess pose or a little bit of that penguin arm. Careful to the shoulder, but you'll feel some pressure through the nerves and the arteries that run all the way down to the palm of the hand. And nothing to be afraid of, just careful. When you're ready to release the twist, your mind as you roll onto your back, knees to your chest, giving the legs a little squeeze, rocking hip to hip, massaging the back. We'll lower the right foot and take the left ankle over top. If it helps to lift your head while you grab hold in the figure 4, left elbow pressing, right knee squeezing. And this pose, like so many poses, no matter how many times we do it, it always bears fruit. Sometimes it takes a little bit of investigation, and hopefully it feels a little bit different based on what we've done prior. Right? So much what we were working through the hips in these same spaces. If it is appropriate, again, you can straighten that right knee up and down a couple times. And in the course of straightening and bending the right knee, you might find a place to say, oh, that right there is where I feel the hip the most, or there I feel that hamstring or the lower back the most. So you can be your own boss, your own teacher. This last breath, you might squeeze a little closer, releasing the hands, your right foot to the floor. Your left leg is going to go to the sky. Grab hold of that left thigh while you circle the ankle around, freeing the foot, freeing the circulation to the toes. And then your left knee to your chest, your right leg along the floor. And as you set up the twist, your left arm rolling to the side, out wide on the ground, your left leg over and across your body. You have plenty of time to investigate, to explore here. I find it really helpful to keep the right leg, that straight leg, really strong, as that also sets a particular tone, really creates that solid line so that you can feel what you're twisting on. As a reminder, you can move that left arm around a little bit. Feel a little bit of teeter-tottering from the shoulder through the chest. Keep breathing when you're ready to release. And using that right hand and your inhalation to bring you back, knees to your chest. And here, if there's anything else you feel that you need, a little bit of happy baby is often where we go, but we've done a lot for the hips, inner and outer thighs. If there's one last bridge pose, or you want to move your legs up the wall, you're welcome to go into those spaces as well. So feel free to make any adjustments before you make your way into Shavasana. Find our support. Maybe a pillow underneath your head or a blanket to cover you, cushion underneath your knees, any of those items, pulling the blind or closing your eyes. And as you settle into your resting position here, we'll do a gentle scan of the body from the feet to the head. And you can participate mentally by repeating the relaxation cues that I offer you. You don't have to repeat them, but the auto-suggestion is another way to deepen the experience of release. So first, feeling your body as a whole, resting on the floor, acknowledging the ground, the earth, and feeling a sense of the circulation through your body, your breath relaxed. No need to breathe in any special way. Feeling into the feet, saying to yourself, I can feel my feet, my heels, my arches, and my toes relaxed. I can feel my feet, my heels, my arches, and my toes completely relaxed. I can feel my legs, my ankles, my knees, and my hips relaxed. I can feel my legs, my ankles, my knees, and my hips completely relaxed. I can feel my torso, my abdomen, my lower back, and my ribs relaxed. I can feel my torso, my abdomen, my lower back, and my ribs completely relaxed. I can feel my spine, my shoulders, and my neck relaxed. I can feel my spine, my shoulders, and my neck relaxed. I can feel my arms, my elbows, and my wrists relaxed. I can feel my arms, my elbows, and my wrists completely relaxed. I can feel my hands, my palms, my fingers relaxed. I can feel my hands, my palms, and my fingers completely relaxed. I can feel my face, my chin, my cheeks, and my forehead relaxed. I can feel my face, my chin, my cheeks, and my forehead completely relaxed. And finally, letting go from the top of your head, I can feel my whole body, my mind, and my spirit relaxed. I can feel my body, my mind, and my spirit completely relaxed, deeply at rest. body to remain still. Turning your awareness to your breathing. Feeling into the floor, feeling into the earth. Breathing into the air, into the sky. Feeling yourself at home and complete throughout your body. At home and complete on this beautiful earth. Deepening your breath, expanding your inhalations, feeling a little bit stronger with your exhalations. Visualizing that flow moving through your legs, into your feet, wiggling your toes. Breathing through your arms, into your hands, wiggling fingers. Simple movements to your head, rolling side to side. And as you breathe and move, you can stretch your arms overhead, those wake up stretches if that feels good. Good. Link your hands together, reaching up through the elbows, right arm reaching, left arm reaching. Moving slowly to bring your knees to your chest, giving your legs a hug and rocking from side to side. Massaging a little bit through your lower back. Take a moment, rising up to sitting. You can roll to that fetal position or rock along the length of your spine, finding a comfortable cross-legged seat. Can you guys hear the garbage truck? Can anybody hear it's right outside. So those of you that are here often on a Tuesday morning, the recycling truck comes and takes the recycling away. And it's, perfect timing. So anyway, we'll close here with the hands together at the heart. Get some familiar sounds. A moment here to recall any dedication, any intention, and perhaps carrying that with you through the rest of your day. Additionally, we acknowledge within ourselves and within one another that which is peace, that is joy, that is love, and that is light, residing inside of this space with both the knowledge and the experience that we are one with all things. And just one sound of Om will sing. This full breath in. Deep breath when you're ready, and to that light we bow. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you all so very much. I hope it wasn't too crazy with all the jumping around. Hopefully it was fun for you.
It's great. Thanks, Tom.